Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I couldn't find my music. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm back already with another subject. Very important subject. And I want to deal with the United States public education system. But people from different countries, feel free to chime in, because maybe this is the biggest problem with your education system as well. Shout out to Mr. Jonathan Payne, who has already chimed in and said this also applies for the rest of Europe. The rest of Europe. So this is serious. Now, this is a short video. It's only 6 minutes long. But I thought it was a very good video. And I want to start this video off with this video, because I want to get people into or familiar with the problems of the educational system here in the United States. This might be something that a lot of people have not gotten into. So I wanted to find, something simple to understand. Now, this names 6 problems, but you have some sources that name 15 problems, like with this one. Here's another article where they name 20 problems. So you can go on and on. But I wanted to give you a basic idea of what I'm talking about here, because you have to understand this in order to decide whether or not dogs is the biggest problem with the public education system. I believe it is. And I'll explain why.
Our system of education. But what is it? Well, we send our children to school to prepare them for the real world, which is changing very, very fast. But our schools haven't changed much for hundreds of years. In fact, thought leaders from around the world agree that the current system of education was designed in the industrial age mainly to churn out factory workers. And this industrial age mentality of mass production and mass control still runs deep in schools. Industrial age values. We educate children by batches and govern their lives by ringing bells. All day long, students do nothing but follow instructions. Sit down, take out your books, turn to page 40, solve problem number 3, stop talking. At school, you're rewarded for doing exactly what you are told. These are industrial age values that were really important for factory workers. Their success depended on following instructions and doing exactly what they were told. But in today's world, how far can you get by simply following instructions? The modern world values people who can be creative, who can communicate their ideas and collaborate with others. But our children don't get a chance to develop such skills in a system that's based on industrial age values. Lack of autonomy and control. At school, our children experience a complete lack of autonomy and control. Every minute of a child's life is tightly controlled by the system. But in today's world, if you're doing important work, then you're managing your own time. You're making your own decisions regarding what to do and when to do it. But life at school looks very different. The system is sending a dangerous message to our children that they are not in charge of their own lives. They just have to follow whatever is laid down instead of taking charge and making the most of their lives. Experts believe autonomy is incredibly important for children. It's no wonder then that our children are bored and demotivated by school. Can you imagine how you would feel if you were told exactly what to do for every minute of your life? Inauthentic learning. Most of the learning that happens in schools today is not authentic because it relies on memorization and rote learning. The system defines a generic set of knowledge that all children must know. And then, every few months, we measure how much has been retained by administering exams. We know that such learning is not authentic because most of it is gone the day after the exam. Learning can be much deeper and more authentic. It can be so much more than just memorization and retention. But that's the only thing we measure, and test scores are the only thing we value. This has created an extremely unhealthy culture for students, parents, and teachers. Children are going through endless hours of tuitions, staying up all night memorizing useless facts that they will forget very soon. No room for passions and interests. We have an extremely standardized system where each child must learn the same thing at the same time in the same way as everyone else. This doesn't respect the basic fact of being human, that each of us is unique and different in our own way. We all have different passions and interests. And the key to fulfillment in life is to find your passion.
Now, I gotta stop here. Now, ask yourself how a therapy dog program fits into this. No room for passion. Basically, another way of saying no room for individualism, personal creativity. No room for passion. Well, this dog culture fits right in to this structured form of education where students don't get a decision. You know, nobody asks them for permission. They're just all expected to accept and embrace the presence of a dog. That's very problematic.
But do the schools of today help our children find and develop their passion? There seems to be no room in the current education system for the most important questions in a child's life. What am I good at? What do I want to do in life? How do I fit into this world? The system doesn't seem to care.
Yeah, they don't care. Here's a dog. Come rub on it. And if you don't rub on it, you have a mental problem. You're an evil, immoral person who's actually mentally ill. This is what the public educational system does. And it's reinforced big time through this therapy dog program or movement that they got going. It's the worst thing to ever happen to the education system.
So many greatly talented people who failed in the traditional school system. Fortunately, they were able to overcome these failures, but not everyone can. We have no measure for how much talent, how much potential goes unrecognized in the current system. Differences in how we learn. Each of us is also different in how we learn, in how much time we take to learn something, and what tools and resources work best for us. But the system has no room for such differences. So if you're a bit slow in learning something, you are considered a failure, when all you needed was a bit more time to catch up. Lecturing. In the current system, children are lectured for more than 5 hours a day. But there are a few big problems with lecturing. Sal Khan from Khan Academy calls lecturing a fundamentally dehumanizing experience. 30 kids with fingers on their lips, not allowed to interact with each other. Also, in any given classroom, different students are at different levels of understanding. Now, whatever the teacher does, there are bound to be students who are either bored because they're ahead or confused because they're behind. Because of the internet and digital media, our children have at their fingertips all the information in the world. Technology has made it possible for anyone to learn anything. But for fear of losing control, the system is not leveraging these incredible resources. Our system of education, which evolved in the industrial age, has become outdated and ineffective. If we want to prepare our children for the modern world, if we want learning to be effective and engaging, then there's no doubt that we need to fundamentally change our system of education.
Okay. Simple enough. Simple enough. But I think we need to understand that this is miseducation. Okay? When you talk about this dog culture, this is miseducation. Okay? Where they're teaching the students against common sense. That is very detrimental. That is far worse than anything you heard in this video. Okay? Common sense is making practical decisions and informed judgments based on the facts presented in reality. That's common sense. For example, no massive predators inside of a home where there's kids and babies. I mean, inside of a home, period. No matter if it's all adults. Yeah, that should be common sense. But that's beyond common sense. That's more like a natural instinct. Understand what I'm saying here. It's one thing to miseducate students and to teach them false information. It's another thing to teach them against their own natural instinct. People, this falls in line with the natural instinct to survive. You don't have to learn that. So these school systems, they attack the most basic, fundamental of instincts. It attacks it. Basic fundamental instincts, and projects that instinct to stay away from dogs as a mental illness itself. But that is the greatest failure in the public education system. That's just flat out criminal. It's criminal. Now, you look at the definition of miseducation. The fact or process of educating people in a way that is not correct. Now, this dog culture does apply. It does apply because when they bring these therapy mutts into these schools, that's a process of educating the students. They're trying to do it in a covert way, in an indirect way, but it's a process of education. And they're trying to educate the students against their own best interest, literally against the quality of their existence. They're teaching the students, hey, this is what's acceptable. You'll be accepted in society if you endanger yourself and everyone around you. Students are being taught that this is intelligent when it is absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay? As miseducation. This is very serious, man. Very serious. Now, what is this? Here was another article. They've been talking about this for a long time. This article actually from 1993. They've been talking about the failure of the public education system here in the United States. But I'm telling you, this dog problem is the biggest failure because you expect students to always be taught the very basics Okay? This may be an industrialized education system, but that does not stop us from teaching students that something is dangerous. Sharing information that proves that it's dangerous and advising them to avoid and how to avoid these things. That's what you're supposed to do. Again, in school, you can't just get up there and teach students to play in traffic. You can't seriously do that. You know, the education system itself, I think, could be sued. But that's exactly what they're doing. In another way, this education system, they're teaching students to play in traffic. It don't get no worse than that. Play in traffic, really? Now, when you look at some of these other reasons that they list, they pale in comparison. Not enough funding, decline in school safety, challenges with technology and education, controversy over charter schools and voucher programs, problem with the core curriculum, decreased teacher salaries. This stuff pales in comparison. You're talking about people literally bringing therapy pit bulls. And look at this. What this is the height. This, like I said, this goes beyond miseducation. That's a flipping pit bull inside of an elementary school. If these kids see a pit bull outside of this school, you want those students to avoid it. You don't teach them to go up to it and play with it like it's some type of toy. We should be able to sue these schools for doing this. This should be grounds for major lawsuits. Major. My child see a pit bull somewhere, goes up to hug it and play with it, get mutilated, all because of what? You goofy teachers, all day teaching them that dogs are toys. Harmless little toys that you just need to play with. How is this not grounds for major lawsuits? How? The school, that's where students are supposed to learn, isn't it? Yeah, the dog might not literally be in the school curriculum. And if that's the case, then stop bringing it into the building. That's exactly why they shouldn't be in there. Not a part of the curriculum. Why would they be? So you spend all day teaching my child that pit bulls are nothing but harmless toys that they need to go up to and play with when they see them. And let's say that same day, as they're walking home, they see a pit bull. Let's say it's a stray pit bull. Now my child does not possess the skills through learning to maximize his or her chances of escaping. They lack those basic skills now because you failed to teach them. Instead, when my child saw this stray pit bull, my child walked up to it, tried to hug it, and was mutilated. You telling me these schools are not even partially at fault? How so? How so? How is it even possible? And this is no joke, people. They got these therapy pit bulls everywhere. They're everywhere. Now, this is the second or third. No, this is like the fourth or fifth that I've showed. And this is a, relatively recent story. This surfaced a month ago. Look at how arrogant they're becoming. Oh, let's not only bring large dogs, let's actually bring bully breeds. Let's bring pit bulls. As if there's no price to pay. As if there's no consequences from doing this. There most certainly is. If a student was ever wondering how they should respond when they see a flipping pit bull, what do you think they're going to think when you, the teacher, brings one into the classroom, projecting it like a toy? They're going to think, oh, okay, so that's what I'm supposed to do. And again, this is an extension of your basic instincts because it's a part of survival. It's a natural instinct to try to survive. It's a natural instinct. And this is directly connected to it. Because you're talking about your life, and you're talking about other people's life. And these goofball teachers in the thousands around the country bringing pit bulls into elementary, into around preschoolers. No, we're going to make some noise about this in 2023. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you're not just going to be able to. That's beyond arrogant. You're not just going to be bringing pit bulls into elementary schools across the country and not deal with any backlash. No. We should not be able to sleep at night if we're keeping our mouths closed about something like this. You shouldn't find stories like this end with the same stories where they're talking about a therapy pit bull, where they got kids hugging and playing with these things. Oh, this is the biggest failure. Like I said, you're dealing with people's emotions. When it comes to, this is beyond education. Now you're dealing with love, emotions, and you're projecting it as somehow morally superior to not fear something that literally is deadly. Now you think you're somebody because of your stupidity, as if there's something, glamorous about being stupid. There's nothing attractive, nothing appealing at all about being dumb. And that's all you're doing. These schools are teaching kids into dumbness, teaching them to be dumb. Like I've said, there's no other way to put it. It's irrefutable. This is dumb behavior. You see something that's deadly, you want to walk up to it and give it a hug. That's stupid. And that's exactly what they're teaching students to do. And I hope I'm around when the lawsuits start going out. There's a lot you can do within the law. All it takes is that savvy lawyer who wants to leave his or her mark on this earth. There's so much room for so many professionals to leave their mark and to really cement their place in history if they're simply willing to tell the truth, to use common sense. All it takes is that savvy lawyer to put together the proper argument. And I can almost guarantee you that one lawyer can have thousands of schools changing their policies. Like, we have to put an end to this therapy dog program. Seriously, people. Okay, this could easily be manipulated. But it's like I said, the laws that we have now, it's hard to behave in a very reckless way and not violate any of the laws that we have now. If you see it being done, trust me, there's some serious loopholes somewhere. And there's some behaviors that's being ignored and mislabeled. A lot of mislabeling is going on. Oh, it was an accident. Oh, it was provoked. So on and so forth. No. I charge these education boards. I charge these people in education, period, all your teachers, all your staff, all you professors. It's not out of your hands. You're participating in the failure of our schools. It's more damaging when you teach students against their natural instinct, because now they don't have a clear understanding of what is intelligent. If you're teaching them to be suicidal and not care about themselves or anybody else, how are they supposed to decipher different other things where they want to figure out what the right thing to do is? They can't rely on the fact that one decision will keep people safe, because they've been taught that it's not important to keep people safe. They've been taught growing up that it's acceptable. And actually, it's glorified to endanger people. So you can't even be motivated by basic instincts of survival, all because your school has been teaching you against it. Well, you teachers, you schools, you professors, you're so lucky I don't rule the world. Y'all so lucky. Oh boy, and your dog nutters, your pit bull lobbies, you're so lucky I don't have no power. But that's okay. I'm going to pop my collar to what we have done up to this point. I'm proud of our efforts. up to this point. Because we are everyday blue collar working people. You know, we're not made up of multi-million-dollar organizations and CEOs like the dog lobbies. We're just the everyday people next door. So I have to appreciate the noise that we've started thus far, that we've kept up so far. Shout out to Shar in the building. Send me a lot of good stuff on Twitter. Shout out to everybody on Twitter. Our presence is growing on Twitter. It's growing on Twitter. And it's growing, of course, on YouTube. And these different journalists and media outlets, they're starting to really understand that we are a true bona fide social movement, a distinguishable group with a unique language. There are certain facts, stats that get recited on a regular basis only by us, only by the anti-dog people. We've cut out a genuine presence in this world. And we don't have no big dollar corporations behind us. We have totally depended on the common sense of the people, our trust in the people, trust that there are people out there who can relate to what we're saying. You just got to have the courage enough to say it, and say it like you mean it. Because this falls in line with having a passion, like what they were talking about in the schools. That's what you need to do. Recognize what you're passionate about and go after that. Go after that. And they understand, these journalists, different places, they understand that not only do we have a strong argument, have not left any stone unturned, but we have a passion for it. And that's really what scares these pro-pit bull people. Y'all notice how brave pit bull advocates are with everybody else? When they find an ignorant person, a person who's not educated on the information, they bully those people. The pro-pit bull, they love to bully ignorant people who've never looked into it. But you notice how quiet they are when it comes to us? They're like church mice. They don't want no problems at all. You can sit up here and tag them by name in front of the world. But they know better. And if they're bright, they had to have known that we would be here. We would arrive eventually. But, you know, that's saying a lot. They probably are not bright enough to figure that out. Because like I said, you know, these people are crazy. What Judge Judy say? The pit bull owners are crazy. So maybe they're genuinely just not bright enough to understand how horrible their arguments are and how obvious it should be to even young people that it's a bunch of nonsense. And I trust in people's common sense and their ability to identify nonsense. Because this is as simple as it gets. This is your basic survival they're trying to teach you against. Young folk, you see the teacher bring a dog into class, you walk out of the class. You do not have to sit there and be indoctrinated and allow them to teach you to play with dogs. They bring a dog in there. You say dogs are dangerous. Stay away from dogs. Huh? What are you talking about, Johnny? Dogs are dangerous. Stay away from dogs. Dogs kill. Dogs kill kids. Dogs kill babies. Dogs torture babies. Yeah, keep saying that. See how long that therapy dog program lasts, because it's the truth. And that is what a rational thinking person would do. Reject that mutt and just stick to your guns. Dogs are dangerous. Dogs kill kids. They kill babies. Stay away from dogs. You get enough youngsters saying that, and these nutters will walk out of that room, walk out of that school, and that would be the end of that mutt program as we know it. We just need to get people on the same page. Okay? This is a movement of truth and common sense. You can trust it. Or you can become our opposition. And you don't want that. Because those goofballs, they don't have a leg to stand on. Now, as we all know, Joe Biden is a dog nutter. He's a nutter. I mean, he's a bona fide, big-time nutter. He's the first president to bring a shelter mutt into the White House. And, you know, it only makes sense that that dog attacked people. And do y'all know Joe Biden has actually accused those Secret Service people who were attacked? He's accused them of lying about the dog attack. Why would they do that? Why would they lie about something like that? You're talking about grown men whose job it is to protect the president. That's not something that they would want to say. Oh, a dog bit me. They know that most people look at it as, you know, not very manly. They'll think you're lacking in testosterone. This sounds like something an honest person would say. Biden won't speak freely near Secret Service and thinks agents lied about dog bite incident. This has been revealed in a book. Get a load of this guy. Get a load of this guy, this dog nutter. Dog drama in the White House. So what happened? What is it? Yeah, he was complaining about there are some MAGA sympathizers. He's saying that some of those Secret Service people that work for him, some of them work for Donald Trump. And some of them are still supporters of Trump and the right. And that's so Biden is saying, oh, that's why they don't like me. They're MAGA. Right? Is that why they don't like dogs too? MAGA sympathizers. And this guy actually thinks some Secret Service workers would lie on a shelter mutt. Joe, you don't have to lie on no shelter mutt. This is not like Biden's dog that he raised from a puppy, that he knows so well. Well, what are you talking about? You adopted it from a shelter, a grown mutt. And you think somebody would have to lie about a biting incident? The nerve of these people. And yeah, so he's up there saying, no, it's a lie. He's saying that it never happened at all. That's what Joe Biden is saying. They just completely made it up. No, Joe. Not everybody is like dog nutters. Y'all make stuff up. Y'all sit around lying, fabricating information, just flat out lying. Around every corner, when it comes to dog lovers, there's a lie. It's like they have a phobia against the truth. They hate the truth. Everything is lie, 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 lie. The dog it loves me. All a bunch of lies. And I'm sick of it. Don't nobody have to lie on your goofy shelter mutt. The nerve of a president to bring a shelter dog into the White House. You know we've reached an all-time low when it comes to dogs, in regard to dogs. This is an all-time low, people. We are at rock bottom right now. There's nowhere to go at this point but up. Nowhere to go but up. Yeah, they got a bunch of crazy stuff going on. Transhumanism. Man. And that's some real sick stuff, man. I'm telling you, we're in the last days. When you got people engaged in this type of behavior, talking about manipulating the human species in general, probably already got clones walking around here. You probably got people from the 1700s been resurrected and rejuvenated, artificially recreated. Well, these people have lost their minds. And they're just going to go further and further as long as people stay silent. That's the biggest problem in any country. The biggest problem is good people who remain silent. Okay, at the very least, we can talk about it. That's the beauty of the social media world. See, I remember when we didn't have social media. Back when, everything you said was live in real time. You had to actually learn how to interact with people through hands-on experience. People seem more genuine. So the social media era sort of took that away from people, but you take the good with the bad. One of the big benefits of the social media era is that now you can share certain beliefs that otherwise, previously, you would have kept to yourself because you don't know who's an anti-dog person and who's not. So the anti-dog people would just keep to themselves. They couldn't just reach out and touch millions. Now we can put our beliefs out there and find thousands, millions of other people the exact as us, the same as us. So that's a powerful tool to use. This is unbelievable. Therapy pit bull visits Christ Hospital. What in the world? these people out of their minds, man. Oh, man. Shout out to everybody who was able to join me for this brief live stream. I didn't plan on doing this live stream. It was pretty random. So I might hop on randomly here and there. I don't want to commit to anything. The videos that I produce, it's all based on how I feel. Right? So we'll see how I feel. Vasectomy fail, Kodiak, Garble, Restless Wanderer, Mr. Champagne in the building, Ban All Dogs in the building. I think Serena makes videos. Shout out to Serena. Let me see if I can get her. I get a link to her channel. I'll share it. Share it in the comment section. What did I do with that, actually? I don't even know what I did with it. Yeah, but shout out to Serena, who recently started to create content. A lot of people creating content. Man, it is a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Be sure to check out their content. A lot of excellent stuff created. Right? Shout out to everybody who's able to join me. And I hope you all are able to join me on the next live stream, Mr. Perkelly, as we continue with this crusade.